Ladies, gentlemen, and honored family and friends watching from home, good morning and welcome to the Texas Department of Public Safety Training Academy as we celebrate the graduation of Recruit Class A-2020. My name is Brian Baxter, and it's my honor to serve as the Major of the Training Operations Division of the Texas Department of Public Safety. I'd like to recognize our distinguished guests and speakers with us today, the Training Operations Division Staff and Command, Chief Dwight Mathis and Assistant Chiefs Justin Crane and Ben Urbanzik of the Texas Highway Patrol, Texas Department of Public Safety Deputy Directors Freeman Martin, Randy Prince, and Jeff Williams, and Texas Department of Public Safety Director Steve McCraw. Public Safety Commissioners Steve Stodgel, Nelda Blair, Dale Wainwright, and Chairman Stephen Mock, and the Governor of the great state of Texas, the Honorable Greg Abbott. It's now my privilege to introduce to you the Chief of the Training Operations Division, Renerl Bowie.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, welcome to the Texas Department of Public Safety Class A-20 graduation. In January of this year, the Department of Public Safety received over 2,000 applications for the A-20 school. 103 cadets were called. Today, 77 have made it through. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel McCraw, it is my distinct honor to present to you the winners, Class A-20.
Class A-2020, up 10, jump. Part-time, march. Fail, 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 right. Fail, 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 right. Forward, march. Up in the morning out of the rack. Up in the morning out of the rack. Hurricanes and riot attacks. Hurricanes and riot attacks. Rolling down our county roads. Rolling down our county roads. Watching where the fear to go. Watching where the fear to go. Hail, hail, highway patrol. Hail, hail, highway patrol. Texas 10 is in my soul. Texas 10 is in my soul. Hail, hail, state police. Hail, hail, state police. Protect and serve, uphold the peace. Protect and serve, uphold the peace. OC spray all in my eyes. OC spray all in my eyes. If I get shot, I will not die. If I get shot, I will not die. Mama, mama, don't you know? Mama, mama, don't you know? I'm the Texas Highway Patrol. I'm the Texas Highway Patrol. Hail, hail, Highway Patrol. Hail, hail, Highway Patrol. Texas 10 is in my soul. Texas 10 is in my soul. Hail, hail, state police. Hail, hail, state police. Protect and serve, uphold the peace. Protect and serve, uphold the peace. No crawling in the rain. No crawling in the rain. Lightning strikes, I feel no pain. Lightning strikes, I feel no pain. Hold the law across this land. Hold the law across this land. Stand proud in Texas 10. Stand proud in Texas 10. Hail, hail, Highway Patrol. Hail, hail, Highway Patrol. Texas 10 is in my soul. Texas 10 is in my soul. Hail, hail, state police. Hail, hail, state police. Protect and serve, uphold the peace. Protect and serve, uphold the peace. 2 in the morning, the telephone rings. 2 in the morning, the telephone rings. Off my boots and grab my things. Class A-2020, present ready for graduation, sir.
Prayer of the troops for the pledge.
Present arms. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order! Arms!
Please have the troops be seated.
Take seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to introduce the Director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Colonel Steve McCraw.
Thank you, Chief. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge Governor Abbott's presence here today. I can say personally and professionally, there's not a governor in the nation who knows more and cares more about public safety than Governor Greg Abbott. I know this from personal experience since he first became governor in 2015, and I can attest he's always engaged, always involved, cares deeply about all people of Texas, and works tirelessly around the clock. This is not meant to be pejorative, but Texas is not Rhode Island and Connecticut. We've got DPS sergeant areas bigger than these states, I think you're aware of. Some of you will be assigned to them. The governor of Texas is responsible for protecting over 29 million people, over 268,000 square miles. People live on 361 miles of Gulf Coast and over 1,254 miles of international border with Mexico. The government must contend with a full spectrum of threats, from tornadoes and hurricanes to terrorist attacks, gangs, transnational crime, and yes, a pandemic. I know for a fact that when a DPS officer or any law enforcement officer in Texas is injured or killed, Governor Greg Abbott cares deeply for that officer. He cares deeply for that officer's family. Governor, thank you for your unwavering leadership and for being here today. Class A-2020, when we first met on January 14th, I told you that each of you had demonstrated the character and mental aptitude to become a Texas State Trooper. And that's because the best indicator of future success is past performance. You've demonstrated throughout your careers that you had the character and aptitude to be a Texas State Trooper. But I also said to become a Texas State Trooper, it was important that you be challenged both mentally and physically to ensure that you were worthy of the public trust and possessed the necessary skills and judgment to serve anywhere in the state at any time under the most extreme conditions. Public safety is the protection of people and property from harm, and there's something very special about men and women who care so deeply about public service, they willingly seek out and put themselves in danger to protect the public. We're grateful that people such as yourselves want to become Texas State Troopers, despite the many challenges, and we're grateful to your families and loved ones who've been very supportive throughout this 6 months that you've been assigned here, and I'm sure will continue to support you throughout your careers. On behalf of the men and women in the Texas Department of Public Safety, I want to welcome your family members and you to the DPS family. It's not merely a slogan, as you'll find out throughout your career. It means something. As a Texas State Trooper, you must remain ever vigilant in your daily duties and be prepared to immediately respond to all emergencies anywhere in the state. 2 nights ago, a Texas State Trooper located a suspect who was wanted for 2 murders out of Dallas. And as he approached the suspect at a service station along I-35, the suspect pulled a gun and fired at our trooper. And our trooper returned fire, neutralizing him. And what does a Texas State Trooper do after he neutralizes a threat? Provided emergency tactical care, which you've been taught and trained to do yourselves to save his life. And he managed to survive. Yesterday, I got a call from Colonel Prince, who just got a call from Chief Mathis. We had a trooper and a Knox County Sheriff located a subject who had carjacked a truck tractor semi-trailer and was reported to be shooting at vehicles along the roadway. The subject, when he was stopped, pointed a weapon at the trooper and the sheriff and was shot. Again, the trooper did what each of you have been trained to do, provide tactical emergency care and that suspect's in critical condition. Early this week, troopers and Texas Rangers assigned to the DPS Special Response Team detected and interdicted 450 pounds of cocaine in Starr County. That's over 205,000 grams of cocaine. And the math is very simple. That's over 20 million easily dollars of poison that didn't hit the streets of our cities. Troopers have seized enough lethal doses of fentanyl to kill every person in Texas at least once. I think probably twice, Chief, by now. Last week, a Texas State trooper rescued a 14-year-old girl from sex trafficking during a routine traffic stop. There are no routine traffic stops. And during the last 40 days, as many as 3,000 Texas State troopers deployed to the Capitol and locations around the state, working 12-hour shifts to maximize our resources and prevent riots from occurring in the urban and suburban areas of this state. The DPS motto has stood the test of time: courtesy, service, and protection. It says what we do, protect and serve, and it says how we must do it, with courtesy. Always remember there's great value in being courteous and respectful to everyone you encounter, on or off duty, including the vilest of criminals. No suspect ever agrees to cooperate, consents to search, or confesses to a crime when treated disrespectfully. And no citizen of the state will respect you or DPS if you are arrogant in your actions or your words. It's been said that arrogance is the antiseptic that dulls the pain of stupidity, and I can tell you it undermines our ability to protect the public if you act arrogant. It was not long ago that the criminal element in South Dallas referred to Texas State troopers as the cops with hats. It was very important for Governor Abbott to send resources to the city of Dallas to drive down the escalating violent crime that was occurring in certain hot spots within that city. Today, these same individuals refer to the troopers as the professionals. That was important during the recent riots in Dallas, and it was earned and not owned. Lastly, confidence in yourself is important. Be careful of overconfidence. I know we had a Texas State trooper like you, one of your colleagues, graduated, went to the field, reported his duty station, and could not wait to make his first stop. Finally, his training officer relented and allowed him to make a stop, and his first stop was for speeding. The trooper exited the patrol vehicle and confidently approached the vehicle that he had stopped, but something wasn't right. The patrol car started moving forward. Well, one thing you have to do when you do stop, I can advise you right now, put the vehicle in park before you get out of the vehicle, okay? That's a requirement, right? Because if you don't, you almost, in fact, there's almost a collision, and it didn't impress the violator, the citizen, the motorist. It certainly didn't impress the sergeant or his training officer. Well, that trooper survived the incident, is now the director of the Department of Public Safety. The Texas Department of Public Safety reports to the Public Safety Commission, which is comprised of commissioners who are appointed by the governor. Our commissioners have already been introduced, and I'm going to introduce Chairman Steve Mock, who will be able to introduce our keynote speaker today, Governor Abbott. Chairman Mock is the Vice President and CFO of Mock Industrial Group in Houston. He is a board member of the Harris County Sheriff's Office Foundation, a life member of the Houston Police Foundation and the 100 Club of Houston, and the Crime Stoppers of Houston has commended him for his outstanding contributions to public safety. He's a great leader and staunch supporter of the men and women of the Department of Public Safety and all of law enforcement. Please help me to welcome Chairman Steve Mock.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Director McCraw. I'm having to get used to wearing a mask, and I hope you all are as well. Hopefully there will be a time when we can retire these. On behalf of the Public Safety Commission, I want to extend my gratitude to you, Director, and to the men and women of DPS. We are definitely living in unprecedented times, and we're all extremely grateful, now more than ever, for you, our public servants. We're also thankful for you, Colonel, for your unwavering leadership of this agency, your dedication to the DPS family, and your selfless service to the department, the state, and beyond. Thank you for all you do. And now for the reason we're all here today, to all of our new troopers. You made it. My fellow commissioners and I congratulate each of you for completing the DPS Training Academy and earning your place at today's graduation ceremony. We know this class has been quite a bit different. We are living in extraordinary times, and certainly the current public health crisis caused by COVID-19 has presented this class with challenges and obstacles to overcome, but you are here. You have made it through the unknown. You have persevered. You are healthy. You are well trained, and you're prepared to take on the next chapter in your lives as commissioned law enforcement officers. You have spent hundreds of hours studying, rowing, testing, rowing, training, and did I mention rowing? You've learned how to keep pushing yourself mentally when you thought you had nothing left to give physically. And now you have also learned to lean on each other and encourage one another as you endured this rigorous academy. The camaraderie that A-20 has built is unique and strong, and it will stay with each of you forever. You are now part of a larger legion of men and women who are set apart and who have been set on a path to be the guardians of the public you serve. But you will always share a special connection with your brothers and sisters in A-20. When your fellow Texans see you now, they will see a beacon of strength and a role model for others. If you keep this in mind in all you do, both on and off duty, you can't go wrong. A special note to your families who could not be with us here today under these unusual circumstances. On behalf of the Public Safety Commission, I want to thank all of you for your support, your sacrifices, and your love that has made it possible for your new Texas State Trooper to be here today. While we are saddened to not be able to share this day with you in person, please know how much we appreciate all that you have done to make this day possible, and thank you for all that you will do to support your trooper in the years to come. A-20, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Our congratulations to you again. Today is a day to celebrate your accomplishments and your new life as a Texas State Trooper. Thank you for your commitment to duty, your willingness to serve, and for making us all so proud. Now at this time, it is my honor to introduce our special guest speaker, Governor Greg Abbott. First off, thank you for being here today, Governor. We know this is an unparalleled time for sure, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us today to honor and recognize the newest members of the DPS ranks. We also thank you for your strong leadership during these crises. To say that you've been faced with extraordinary challenges is an understatement, but you have met those challenges with extraordinary leadership. Governor Abbott is the true definition of a public servant. He was elected and re-elected to serve as our state's 48th governor, following his long-serving tenure as the Texas Attorney General and as a Texas Supreme Court Justice before that. Not only has Governor Abbott worked to strengthen the Texas economy, he has steadfastly supported the law enforcement community and profession and worked to preserve Texas values like faith, family, and freedom. Governor, your support of the men and women of law enforcement across Texas does not go unnoticed. A native Texan, Governor Abbott has shown he is a true steward of our state and the principles this land was built on. We're all proud to serve under your leadership. Class of A-20, please join me in welcoming the Governor of the great state of Texas, Greg Abbott.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman, to our commissioners. Thank you all for your service, and to Director McCraw, but most importantly to all of you all. First, I want to say how proud I am of who you are, what you've done, where you've gotten to. I know it's not easy. I know it's not the kind of job that somebody signs up for knowing that you're going to go into work and have a casual day at the office. Instead, you have signed up for duty that only a few are capable of achieving. You signed up to protect the great state of Texas. I'm proud of the hard work that you've put in. I'm even more proud that as you leave here today, you're going to be going into an area of service where you can tell your family that every single day when you go in, you've made a difference to make Texas a better state. I want to thank the DPS leadership, the training program that has worked with you to get you to where you are today. And I want to echo what Chairman Mock said earlier, and that is I want to express my gratitude to your families who I know serve by your side. I know they wish they could be here today to see you in this very important moment. I know that one day we will be able to have gatherings together. We have these challenges, and you have masks on right now because of this pandemic. I'm going to have to leave momentarily and get back to my duties of what seemed to be a 24/7 operation. Have any of you all seen that movie, Groundhog Day? That's what my life is like. Alarm goes off, get up, go deal with the pandemic, go to bed. Alarm goes off, get up, deal with the pandemic. That's what I got to go back and do right now. I'm actually a late addition to today's lineup. I wanted to come here for a particular purpose. It's because of what has happened over the past few months. Director McCraw and I, we go back a long time now. Back during my service as Attorney General, when we worked on a multitude of a lot of different events. And we spent a lot of time together during my time as governor. But never have we spent as much time together, especially in a fast-moving, tense situation, as what we did in the last few days of the month of May and the early days of June of this year, as we worked literally around the clock, on the phone, texting, communicating constantly, as the Texas Department of Public Safety was leading a statewide effort to have to respond to the outbreaks of violence during the course of the protest. As you all know, the First Amendment to the United States Constitution allows for people to peacefully protest. But as you also know, there are times when peaceful protests get extended into non-peaceful actions that lead to devastation, that lead to damages, both physical to other people, to physical damages to property, to what we saw were components of mayhem in our cities. And I'm proud of the way that DPS stood up. What we saw was on the hour-by-hour basis that Director McCraw and I were talking, we were looking at what was going on in the large cities, in particular in the state of Texas. And with each passing moment, we saw the incredible increase in the number of protesters who gathered, knowing that amongst the peaceful protesters were elements of agitators who were there to do harm, intermixed amongst the protesters. And what we could see mathematically was that the local law enforcement was massively outnumbered. Their ability to be able to contain the spread of what seemed to be escalating chaos, the ability to contain that spread was going to be up to the men and women of the Texas Department of Public Safety. Director McCraw and I communicated constantly about, do we send 500 people here, 1,000 there, 250 to some other place? What could be done to have DPS work in conjunction with the Texas National Guard that had to be called out for that situation? It was one of the most urgent times where the entire state of Texas all at once needed everybody to be able to step up and respond. And what we realized is that the difference between life and death, the difference between safety of a community and the absolute destruction of certain regions of that community, was the ability to mobilize thousands of Texas Department of Public Safety troopers. Now, during the course of this, on almost a nightly basis, DPS troopers had to form basically a human ring around our state capitol. Our state capitol was under assault, and the only thing capable of repelling them was the human ring and pushback by the Texas DPS troopers. And I saw exactly what was happening to those troopers at that location, at some other locations like in downtown when the troopers were assisting APD at their own headquarters. And the poise that is required in a situation like that is not the kind of thing that you can truly train for. It's not the kind of thing that you expect to face every day. But it is the kind of thing that when you dig deep down within yourself, you know that you can summon that poise and that strength. When you're being shouted at, you're having things thrown at you, you're having things stripped from you, you're having people who may physically try to beat you. But as Director McCraw was saying, you're an example. You're going to be on camera. Everything you do is being filmed. And what was filmed was an unusual, uncommon sense of both valor and character, with the calm within which DPS officers responded. What I can tell you is that in addition to surrounding the Capitol and making sure that the state's capital was safeguarded, during those very same moments, there were many troopers arrayed in so many cities across Texas. Sure, the very big ones, but it seemed like every single night there were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more smaller communities around the state where the same thing was taking place. Just the sheer logistics that Director McCraw and his team were having to go through just to make sure that each community was going to be safe was incomprehensible. But the main thing is those communities remained safe. They remained protected because of the way the Texas Department of Public Safety responded. One thing that Director McCraw made clear is that in Texas, we will not allow our cities to be hijacked by domestic terrorists, by gangs, by militant groups like Antifa. And DPS proved to be the bulwark against that mayhem. But maybe even more important than what was done during those weeks of protest and riots is the recognition that we're going through an episode now in the United States where these are not a one-off situation. Look at the aftermath of those first few weeks of those riots, and look at what happened in downtown Seattle, where rioters and gangs, they took over downtown. They created first what they called Chaz and then what they called Chop. But bottom line of what they did, it was a hijacking of an entire city. But it's not a one-off, because you saw even more devastation taking place in New York City, where hundreds of people have been shot and killed in various regions in downtown New York, or it could be in Brooklyn or some of the other boroughs. And we've seen now the protesters and rioters who took over downtown Seattle have now moved over to Portland. My point is this. There are agitators out there, paid agitators, whose goal it is to stoke disorder into our society. In order for us to be able to repel that, it requires the Texas Department of Public Safety. One thing that I have seen firsthand, and that is Texas troopers have consistently answered the call. Texas troopers were at the forefront of answering the call in response to the riots that were taking place just a couple of months ago. They've been at the forefront of stopping international cartels from smuggling drugs, guns, human beings across our border. They've been at the forefront of being the first on the scene of mass shootings in places like Odessa. DPS troopers are the go-to team to protect our state. And this leads to the most important point that you need to know. At a time when we are seeing far too many voices in our country talk about defunding law enforcement in their communities, let me tell you where Texas stands. We are not going to defund law enforcement. We are going to defend our law enforcement officers in our state. We want you and we need you to be well trained and well equipped so that you can do your job of protecting our great state. You play a vital role in securing Texas. And I and the citizens of this state are grateful for your service. May God be with you every single day when you're out on the streets, and may God carry you safely home every single night. Congratulations. Be safe. Thank you for your service to Texas.
Thank you, Governor Abbott. So I want to share some significant events, some significant facts about Class A-2020. Class A-2020 is comprised of a diverse group of individuals that together have bonded as a team as they've completed 1,185 hours of training together. Among this team are 14 prior Texas law enforcement officers and 2 prior law enforcement officers from out of state. 29 members of A-2020 are military veterans. 55 of today's graduates hold college degrees, 2 of whom hold master's degrees. 14 members of A-2020 are prior college athletes and 1 a prior NFL player. And just as A-2020 has its own unique population, this group has their own significant accomplishments and experiences that set them apart from every class that's come before. As a team, A-2020 rode a combined total of over 6.5 million meters. 6.5 million meters. 100% of the class earned a fitness star, which means that they scored over 90% on their physical fitness testing. The class lost a total of 649 pounds, and those that didn't lose gained a combined total of 37 lean pounds. Over the course of their 6 months of training, A-2020 celebrated 1 engagement, 1 marriage, and welcomed 2 children into the world. While this class certainly persevered and excelled as a whole, there were also significant individual accomplishments. For example, Trooper Williams did the most push-ups, 157. He also did the most sit-ups, 118. Trooper Boyles ran the fastest mile and a half at 8 minutes and 11 seconds. But in recognition of those individuals who distinguished themselves through their leadership, their skill, and their dedication through exemplary individual performance, time-honored DPS Training Academy Awards were presented. The Physical Fitness Award recognizes the top male and female athletes of the class. This year we had ties in both the male and the female category. The awards were presented to Houston Quintanilla, Kyle Perrin, Haley Smith, and Gloria Rivera. The Major James O. Ratliff Performance Award, what we call the Top Gun Award, recognizes a student who outperforms all others in the areas of driving and firearms. This year, that award was presented to Travis Rowland. The Norman Zader Award recognizes the highest academic average. Now, the class average was 91.5. The recipient of this award, Trooper Eftosmus, had a class-high GPA of 98.03. The Mark Phoebus Award recognizes one trainee who's selected by their platoon sergeants for demonstrating leadership traits and qualities throughout the recruit school. And this award was presented to Justin Yannick. The staff and command of the Training Operations Division is extremely proud of the performance of Class A-2020 during what proved to be a uniquely challenging time. I now invite Director McCraw back to the podium to administer the oath of office. Director.
Thank you. And before I do, one thing I wanted to say is that in that conversation back in January, I told you that after this day, you'd have the right to claim that you attended the most difficult recruit school in the history of the Department of Public Safety going back to 1935. Now, I said you had the right. I didn't say you'd be right, okay? That was A-1977, by the way, okay? But you may be a close second, okay? So, congratulations, and prepare the class to take the oath.
Class A-2020, attention.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me, using your name where I use mine. I, Stephen McCraw, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of a trooper of the Department of Public Safety of the state of Texas. I will never betray my integrity or the public trust. And I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and this state. So help me God. Now that you're Texas State Troopers, what is your mission?
Protect and serve Texas.
Very good.
Presentation of badges. Michael Eftosmus, Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Austin L. Albright.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Gabriel Almazan, Jr.
Trooper.
Jacqueline V. Ariano.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Ephraim Ayala Lara.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Nathaniel J. Parker.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Thomas M. Bateman.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Carolyn E. Oyet.
Right.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Take seat.
Dalton W. Boyle.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Ashton L. Brantley.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Nicholas Luis Carrillo.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Now, Mason. Forward.
Danny R. Castillo.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Angelica Chapa.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Lane D. Covey.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Carlene P. Crawford.
Right, make,
Congratulations, Trooper.
take your seat.
Joshua I. Cruz.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Cynthia Jeanette De Santiago.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Justin E. Durr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Ishmael J. Duarte.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Davion J. Ernest.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Christian A. Elizondo.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Alejandro Flores.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Raul Flores.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Aiden Gallaga Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Marco A. Garcia.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Jared A. Guerrero.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Ernesto Guzman Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Sean M. Hazel.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Matthew H. Petco.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Justin K. Yannick.
Congratulations, Trooper.
John Paulo Olomio.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Calvin Johns Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Isaiah R. Johnson.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Jonathan Geraldo.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Sebastian Longhorn Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Manuel Lachuga.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Corey W. Lee Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Sammy Lipscomb III.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Terrence H. Longbrake. Jonathan Lopez.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Vince E. Lujan.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Christian J. Martinez.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Gabriel N. Medina.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Marcelino Mendiola Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Chadwick C. Menifee.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Take seats.
Edgar Miranda Tovar.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Andrew T. Mitchell.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Chase L. Mondrick.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Stephen Oliveras.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Sarah E. Palos.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Nathan T. Parent.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Kyle N. Perrin.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Houston C. Quintanilla.
Congratulations, Trooper.
David M. Ramirez Jr.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Nathaniel J. Reyes.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Rafael R. Rivas.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Gloria Rivera.
Congratulations, Trooper.
James A. Robbins.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Zachary D. Rogers.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Travis N. Rowland.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Adrian E. Ruiz.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Stacy M. Saldivar.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Alexandra L. Salinas.
Congratulations, Trooper.
William R. Sanders.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Jacob A. Santiago.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Haley A. Smith.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Jason A. Stanley.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Karen D. Trato.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Jackson K. Useldi.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Garrett A. Weichel. Aaron G. Whitehead.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Levi H. Wilcox.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Torian T. Wilkins.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Javad M. Williams.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Jai Wilson.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Trayshawn C. Wooden.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Ricardo L. Zapata.
Congratulations, Trooper.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate our new DPS troopers. We will now have the benediction by Class Chaplain Ernesto Guzman.
Class, attention! Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the benediction. Class, uncover. Our God, who reigns in the heavens, who is sovereign and who is just, it is because of your grace and your mercy we are here drawing breath. We are not here to be served, but to serve you, Lord. Who are we to question you, Lord, for we are but clay, and you have the power to shape us in any form you please. We must depend on you, Father, and realize that only you can help us walk through these valleys that await us. We may seek for goodness, but evil will come. Though we may awake to the light, darkness will set. Father, I come to you today to ask you for protection over us from the evil of this world. Help us keep our eyes on you in times of rejection. When times are hard, we don't know what to do. Help us remember that you are with us and we're never alone. Please be our defender and guide. Surround us with your divine hedge of protection. Encompass us round about with your strength and your might. May we look to you first for comfort and for protection. Whom shall we fear if God is with us? Then who can be against us? The Lord is on our side. We thank you, Father, for this calling, for choosing us to uphold and defend the innocent against the evildoers of this world. Guard our going out and our coming in from this time and forever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Class, recover.
At this time, Class A-20, please remain standing. Honorable Commissioners, please take your seats. This time, I'd like the Chief of the Texas Highway Patrol, Dwight Mathis, to join me on stage, please. The change in command dates back to the times of Roman legions. It is to ensure that the unit maintains leadership. As your commanding officer, I leave you with your final orders. Remember what you've been trained. It may one day save your life. But of all, you treat everyone that you come in contact with the utmost dignity and respect. Chief Mathis, Class A-20, has completed their training, and I hereby transfer command to the Texas Highway Patrol.
Thank you. Just a few weeks ago, I was over here and we talked about respect and consideration. As Chief Bowie just discussed, we will treat people with the utmost respect. And I will ask you to follow these orders that he has given, and now that you become Texas Highway Patrol. Class, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
My order is, your order will be to report to your assigned duty station on August the 3rd of 2020, ready, willing, and able to assume your duties and responsibilities as a Texas State Trooper. Do you accept these orders?
Yes, sir.
Trooper Rowland. You may dismiss your class.
Yes, sir. Class A-2020, center, ice.